Okay, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Celio. Welcome to tonight's Photographic Historical Society of Canada's annual December holiday Zoom and Tell show and tell. A fine tradition going back many, many years. Thanks all of you for joining. Thanks those who have offered to present. Let me just start out welcoming you all. I'm just going to go through the calendar to let you know what is coming up. In January, we'll get a few more details about this, is the Hannah Maynard birthday party in downtown Toronto at the Arts and Letters. It's a Hannah Maynard birthday party. The following weekend, on January the 25th, is the PHSC auction. We're doing yet another auction. We've got some amazing goodies coming in, even more items from the Sherman Hines Museum and other consignments. And then February 22nd, Sunday, February 22nd, the Toronto Postcard Club holds its annual February event at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center. Go to their fine website for information. We'll, I think, be making a post about that on our various information routes. Following weekend, March the 1st, is Camerama, believe it or not, at the same venue the following week at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center. That gets us into March. Of course, at the end of the month is the Old Book and Paper Show at the same venue. For those of you who are interested in this sort of thing, Big Image Show, Sunday, March the 8th, in Washington, D.C. Wonderful, fine, large event. Starting in January the 4th, is that amazing. And you'll find out, I think, if certain presenters are willing to reveal certain details, how fantastic this antique show is. It's the Sunday Antique Market at the Small Arms Inspection Building in Mississauga, quite literally at the bottom of Dixie and Lakeshore Boulevard East. It's about a kilometer west of the venue of Legion 101, where we hold our auctions. It's a stone's throw. It's an amazing auction. It's an amazing antique show. It's the first one of the year, January 4th. And that will be followed in February. In February the 1st, will be a repeat performance of that antique show, and as well as the middle of March on the 15th. So full calendar, folks. You can find out a lot about this, as I'll talk about in my annual general meeting statement in a few moments. There's lots of stuff going on, and we try very hard not to conflict with everybody else under the sun. That's it for my little intro remarks. I can throw it back to you, Celio, if you're game.
Here we are. Thank you very much, Clint, for letting us know what's coming up in the calendar. All very exciting events. I want to welcome everybody back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yay. 2020 end is about to end. 2025 is about to come to an end. And we have a chance to gather together again. We have a very special program planned for you. We got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. We got fantastic people presenting stuff. Excuse me. We have a special sort of like wrap up little report that we're going to get from our society's president, the Honorable Mr. President Lauko Hryhorijiw. All right.
Hey,
So
Clint.
what we're going to do is we're going to kick it back to Clint to give us his wrap up of the year of the PHSC's activities, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna kick it back to me, and we're gonna get started with the show and tell. We have developed a list. We have a list. We have an ordered list, which is a first. It's ordered this time.
Tell us who's first so that she knows.
So first up, we have Lili Schneider,
In a moment.
followed up by yours truly, and then the Motz. All right, so that'll give us some time for the three of us to prepare a little bit. When we come back, we are going to go through the order again, so that we know who's coming up. You guys got chance, you got enough time to get your stuff together. Now, some of you may have objects to show, just put in front of the camera. If you, however, need to share the screen, do let me know. I have to set that up here. Okay, so you can just send me a message via the text box if you need to share the camera, and I'll set up the permissions for that as we get to you. All right.
Where's the text box?
The chat box. It's the little thought bubble you see at the bottom of your screen, right? You'll see the microphone icon. You'll see the camera icon. You'll see a participants icon. The one after that, if you're going from left to right, you'll see like a little speech bubble. Chat. Yeah. Yes. And then just click on that. It'll open the chat box, and just type in there, I need the chat box, or sorry, I need to share the screen. And I will be doing that in the background as our presentations go on, right? If you don't need it and you're happy doing sort of like this thing, just go ahead and do that thing. All right. Sound good? Okay. So please let me know if you need access to share your screen for your computer, for your PowerPoint. I'll do that. Okay. Otherwise, if you're comfortable just showing us, right, your camera object, whatever in front of the camera, all we ask is that you hold it in place just long enough for us to get to see it. Okay. And have fun. Tonight is all about fun. It's all about you. Thank you very much. Mr. President, go ahead.
Thank you, Celio. This being the December meeting, it is time for our annual general meeting, AGM. Thereby, I call this AGM to order. I will make a few remarks, and there will be an opportunity to ask questions at the end of this brief address. I will keep it brief, as per usual. For those of you who would normally attend our events in person, it's good to see you virtually, and we hope to see you in person soon. For those who are enjoying the PHSC experience for the first time, hello to you, and where have you been all our lives? We are a friendly, highly collaborative group, and we don't bite. Please check out the benefits of membership and join. Contribute by researching and writing for our various publications, our website, our social media, and as well as participating in many other events such as fairs and auctions. Best way to find out more about us is to visit our website, phsc.ca, or by checking out our publications, or by simply sending questions to info@phsc.ca, or simply approach one of our fantastic volunteers at one of our events. I'd like to start by making some general comments about how the PHSC has done in the past year, and to acknowledge the many people who are responsible. Please keep in mind that these people are all volunteers, and it is only because of their dedication that this society continues not merely to exist, but in fact to adapt and grow in these most interesting times. As president and a member of this society, I would like to thank all those who normally volunteer and have been clamoring to volunteer, from the people who generate revenue for the society by serving as security at our shows and auctions, the folks who organize and run our fairs, which are a source of a lot of enjoyment for our members and others, those who are interested in photography and the history of photography, who sign up and renew as members year after year, the writers, contributors, and readers of our publications, the photographers who record our events, the appointed members of our executive who produce and send out a huge amount of information digitally, to the eclectic group of volunteer directors who keep this society going. Our revenue generation this year continues to be through membership dues, both from new renewals and new members at $35. It's the best deal going. Table and space rentals at our summertime trunk sales, and table rentals at the 2 fairs, and the commissions on sales at the 2 or 3 auctions that we hold every year. Our auctions have been very successful. The average auctions have had about 300 lots and attract, give or take, 60 people. You got to wonder, who are the bidders? Well, we've got people who are collectors, we've got students, we've got dealers. So if you consign something to our auction, it'll do well. There's always somebody in the room, or more importantly, 2 or 3 people in the room who are very interested in your item. Who are the consigners? Where do we get this stuff? Well, we are contacted by, sadly, relatives of members who have passed away. We don't cherry pick when we come into a room full of cameras. We will liquidate all the camera equipment down to the last lens cap. We don't cherry pick. Also, people who are downsizing, people who discover stuff in a locker somewhere, and we respond to all queries about this equipment, and that's where we get our stuff. Just to answer that frequently asked question. Our dedicated volunteers don't just sit on our board and simply look after their departments. They also normally come out and help at society events and contribute at every meeting. An especially warm welcome and thank you to new and youthful people who have come aboard just in the last little bit to consistently and measurably relieve some of the strain and to perpetuate what the society does. Our category: Spring Fair, Fall Fair, under the direction of Mark Singer, supported by a cast of, it seems, zillions. We normally welcome about 300 attendees and about 50 dealers who manage to cover somewhere between 70 and 90 tables twice a year at the Trident Hall. There is a pent-up demand to buy, sell, and trade all sorts of equipment and images. It's notable that the sellers that are in a position to address the needs of these photographers are enjoying a booming business as people rediscover the love of taking pictures and, in many cases, souping black and white film and printing their own photographs at home. We've created a rather informal but very reliable alliance of camera show promoters, largely stretching along Highway 401, starting in Detroit with our good friends at the Michigan Photographic Historical Society, through to the London, Ontario Vintage Film Camera Show, to our fairs here in Toronto, auctions, special meetings, and sponsored or affiliated events in Toronto, to the rival but very friendly Camerama Camera Show, the Toronto Postcard Club shows, both at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Centre. We've also formed bonds with those who run Photographica events in Montreal, Boston, Washington, D.C., and the numerous events in the northeastern United States run by Fotorama. Why have we forged these bonds? Mainly to avoid scheduling important events on the same days. Don't like conflicts. Through flyers, posters, and notices on the website, our publications, and social media, we promote each other's events. Hence the old expression, the rising tide raises all boats. A side benefit has emerged. Our fellow photographic historical societies now exchange information through publications and program meetings. This results in a bit less work for some, but considerably more information throughout the year for those who wisely choose to attend events such as this. Next category, trunk sale. This summer we held our, I think it's the 13th annual Larry Boccialetti Memorial Trunk Sale. It was held at the aforementioned Trident Hall out on the grass on a beautiful but occasionally torrentially rainy Sunday in the middle of the summer. The 13th one, of course. This event is a lot of fun. It's relatively easy to organize and run. Dealers and attendees like it a lot. Starts early, ends at a decent time, doesn't gobble up your whole Sunday. You don't get too much of a sunburn, and the price is right for both attendees and dealers. On to our archivist and ad hoc recording secretary, David Bridge. He's been making significant headway in tidying up our library and archives and records and managing to find and attempting to manage to find a new home for our archives. In January, February, we hope to find a better location for our records. Stay tuned. This is a pet project. I know what it's like to have loads of banker boxes stacked all over, and I don't like it either. David also co-edits the PHSC Journal along with Louise Freiberger. Treasurer, we are doing well financially. Our books are very capably looked after by Treasurer John Morden, with continuing assistance from Judy Rollick where needed. We are able to carry on financially due to the prudent management of our funds. We also rely on John and his graphics team to produce eye-catching and informative posters for all upcoming PHSC events. John Morden is also general editor of PHSC Press. Watch for our publications in the near future. We're working on a few things. Freshly minted Vice President Jeri Danyleyko serves as financial manager. Really important job, supervising our investments and is involved in all our events, contributing with very, very, very wise counsel. Patrick Gunn is the new editor of the PHSC email newsletter, and his first issue hit your email mailboxes just under a year ago. I'm sure you've noticed the new and revised version of this monthly online publication and will come to appreciate how amazing it is. Patrick brings to the newsletter a long association with historical societies, graphic design, and advertising, and boy, does it show. Along with the website and social media, it is the source for the latest information. We are very pleased with the fact that the newsletter goes out to almost 2,000 addresses, with about 40% of recipients opening up the email, a very, very high percentage indeed. We share the newsletter with members of the MIPHS, the Michigan Photohistorical Society, and some members of PHSNY, our friends at the Photohistorical Society of New England, based in Boston. Next category, awards are something with which the society is involved. The PHSC was on the academic awards map, but a changing institutional climate at post-secondary schools has thrown us for a bit of a loop. We're looking forward to forging new scholarship alliances with schools in Canada that we may not have considered previously, perhaps smaller schools with photography programs. There's a few out there. We're going to be getting in touch. Membership. As of date, we have about 200 members. The membership department is supervised diligently by our coordinator, Lili Schneider, here present. It's a tough task keeping and getting new members, and sometimes we have to inundate you with renewal notices. Now more than ever, it is important to renew your membership. Starts in January, now's the time. For those of you who may be attending a PHSC event for the first time, welcome. At $35 for an annual membership, it is the best deal going. As part of your membership, you get the best journal of the kind in the business 4 times a year, as well as discounts and special opportunities for other events. The website, welcome back, Bob Carter. During a typical month, we get about very roughly 4,000 unique visitors who visit 15,000 times, viewing a total of over, I think it's now 35,000 pages. Our website is now about 30 years old. Our webmaster and vice president, Bob Carter, has directed the site since its inception. He personally adds an average of 1 post per day. Think about that. For a total to date of about 4,000 posts, a phenomenal amount. Bob is capably assisted by several helpers, most notably recently, including Jeri Danyleyko and George Dunbar, and contributions from the public are always welcome. We'll still be adding more features to our website, including archiving and preserving the work of some photo researchers. We've added a massive list of repair manuals, frequent visits there. Some members find them very, very handy. Repair manuals on all sorts of cameras, lenses, movie projectors, movie cameras, and the like. It's massive, 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 massive. Photographic Canadiana Journal, under the incredibly dedicated and meticulous direction of co-editors Louise Freiberger and David Bridge. We continue to publish a fantastic journal 4 times a year, a publication that continues to be held in extremely high regard, both throughout Canada and internationally. Story ideas are always welcome, and a big thank you to those who contribute regularly and occasionally with incredibly well-researched articles. Program. This is a typical one. Our monthly speakers series is, or roughly monthly, speaker series is organized by Celio Barreto, here present. We've not met in person for a program in many years, but perhaps one day, as the technology improves, one day we'll have perhaps a hybrid get together. But in the meantime, we have many more experience, such as the one tonight. It's a typical example of many programs going forward. Our Instagram influencer is Mina Markovic, running the PHS of Canada site. Our numbers are growing, having recently cracked 1,000 as we strive to reach out to yet another demographic interested in photography. We continue regularly with postings dealing with interesting and sometimes obscure, but always fascinating photographers and photography throughout history. As always, Mina welcomes your thoughts and contributions. Go to Instagram. You'll find out a lot about the things that are going on with us and across Canada and to a certain extent around the world. In the future, and this is another project, in the future, watch out for greater outreach to the camera and film loving public through innovative efforts via social media, people that may not yet know about us. Rounding out our executive is longtime member John Allman, serving as the PHSC liaison with the Ontario Council of Camera Clubs. We are a proud member. Rounding out the board is Mark Singer as past president, who contributes immeasurably at each and every PHSC event and meeting, including serving as our audiovisual guru at our events, making us all sound and look oh so good. That concludes my remarks for the December 2025 AGM meeting. If there are any questions, do let me know. If there are none, I will close this annual general meeting and thank you for your patience and for listening. Folks, I'm going to throw it back to Celio, who will launch the show and tell program. Sir.
Thank you very much, Clint. All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, we are, excuse me, we have the distinct pleasure of hosting our final show and tell of the year. And we have the participation of, and I'm going to read the names in order, Lili Schneider, myself, Cindy Motz, Marlene Cook, Mark Singer, Jeri Danyleyko, Laura Jones, Clint Hryhorijiw, Sam Carpick, and Lorne Shields. So we got a very exciting program of, mostly seasoned show and tellers. So personally, I am looking forward to what you guys have prepared. And I'll like to get things kicked off with Lili Schneider. But before we do, I'm going to ask everybody to mute your microphones. Okay? Mute your microphones, because if your microphone is on and there's a sound picked up by the system will switch to your camera and take it away from the person who's presenting. So I'm going to ask everybody to mute your microphone. Yes, Clint, go ahead.
Procedural question, sir. If folks have Q&A questions, should we ask those questions immediately after the presentation or at the end of the event, or what? What do you think, Celio?
I'm thinking that we can ask questions at the end of the event.
At the end of the end. Okay.
Yeah. So make a note. Now, if you want to not forget your question, you can throw them on the chat box, right? And because it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, otherwise. Yeah,
so
right.
You throw your questions on the chat box. That way they stay there. They're archived for the night, and we can come to them, right? And yes, go ahead.
One more question. Forgive. Do any of our presenters have to leave a little bit earlier? If so, just like raise your hand, say so. Marlene, you're fourth. Does that work for you? You mentioned perhaps a commitment. If you're okay, give me a thumbs up.
I'm okay. I don't mind going last. It doesn't
Fourth,
matter.
fourth.
That's okay.
Good. Okay. Thanks.
All right. Great. Thank you. So again, I'm going to ask everybody to mute your microphones. All right. And Lili, are you ready?
Okay, can you hear me? Perfect. I was following your instructions, so I mute myself. So, hello everybody. Today I have a camera that it's a beautiful around the 50s area. The Lordomat. I don't know if you know this camera. It's a camera that originated from Germany, founded by Rudolf Leidolf in 1921. This guy was basically focused on microscopes, binoculars in the Wetzlar area. And if everybody knows, Wetzlar is the area where Leica produces their camera, and many other industries related to photography are in the same area. The guy was 23 years old when he founded his company. Apparently, he was working in different companies on glass, and he started with microscopes. In the 40s, he had another guy working in another company by the name of Fritz Meinhardt, and apparently he worked at Leica, and he brought the talent to develop the Lordomat line, positioning as a quality mid-range camera. I have found a video that maybe if I can share my screen. How do we do this, Celio?
All right, go right ahead. You have permission now to share your screen.
Okay, but let me see if I can find it, because where do I go? Share. Give me just 1 minute, okay?
No problem.
I think I'm gonna need my, for some reason, the share thing is grayed out. Is there something that you have to do on your
No,
side?
I've given you permission to share. There you are. So you have sharing permissions.
Let me. Minute. I'm trying to. Um, the 70s, but I just wanted to see how it was working. So that's not a bad thing. Uh, hear this?
Lily, I think your mic keeps cutting out.
Seems from a little bit of research I've done, they seem to have had some connection. is an example. And a very good
Okay. Lily, can you we're gonna do something here. We're gonna stop your share, okay? And
example.
you're gonna share again, but this time you're going to share straight to the video file, okay? Because right now we can see your folder with the video, but we cannot see the actual video,
Brochures or the sales
Ooh.
brochures.
right?
Sales
So we're gonna stop sharing
Yes.
and then share again, but this time
PHSC.
share the open video, and we should be able to see what you're watching.
Have a look. We in fact find. Yeah, just
Can you see that?
thought about standard.
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay, so let me restart this. Okay, sorry.
No problem. It happens. It's okay.
Ross Heaton, their sales book. And if we have a look, we in fact find, yeah, let me just see.
Presenting art pieces.
Ay, sorry.
That looks so cool.
I didn't mean to put the commercials on my
Thought about standard. 35mm camera with coupled rangefinder and one eyepiece with viewfinder. And interchangeable lens, rapid film winder with 4-component f2.8 Lorne coated color corrected elastic mat. In die cast. We run that through the Bank of England converter.
give me 10.
If you'd have waited just 1 year, the Laudermat, which is here, is now dropped to £36, 18 shillings and 2 pence or tuppence. And that equates to about 750. So you could have saved £150 if you'd have waited just 1 year. So maybe there's a salutary lesson there for us to have our cameras. Maybe just waiting a little bit, you would good results. So let's go through some of the features of the camera. As I mentioned, it's a 35mm rangefinder. There's the rangefinder window. And so when you look through the viewfinder, you see this little patch in the middle of the viewfinder. And the idea is that of course, you can use, I guess, the guessometer. You can guess which distance. As mentioned, this one features the sort of standard lens, kit lens. The camera features their own contour SVS. It's nicely seated. Then just lock. So it's a breech, I suppose you'd call that, breech mount. But we've got it here. You can see the focus ring. You can see the aperture ring is on the outside, 22 to f2.8. Then our focus ring. And etched into the bottom of that lens is a depth of field scale, so that we can line up. We choose f8. We know exactly what's going to be in focus, either end, close, far away. The shutter speeds go from 1/300th of a second all the way down to bulb. Then we have, there's a cold shoe, so there's a flash synchronization port there. Then around the other side, our choice of electronic flash or flash bulbs. And there is a lock button just there. So I can zoom in, press in, and then you can rotate and slide up the dial. There's also a tripod, sorry, not a tripod, a cable release there. And then finally, we have our shutter actuation button. So one of the things I like about the Lorne series is the fact that they're a double stroke camera. Again, whether that's the Leica influence, perhaps, but it's not the usual. Takes a bit of getting used to. In here to put timer, and on this particular camera it doesn't work very well, so I had a bit of a panic mode, but I was able to get out of that situation by placing it upon B. That resolved the issue. Here's the film counter, which counts down, so you have to manually set it to 24. The camera back into its canister on the left hand side here. Take back off. So the side of our camera. So we place our film, the left hand side here, over and in over the sprockets and into the take off spool. See the mechanism working. Looking through the viewfinder, it's not particularly bright viewfinder, I have to say, and the patch is still usable, so the rangefinder can still be used. But as I say, it's not a huge viewfinder, but again, compared to the certain cameras for the age, that was very similar. So cold shoe, mentioned that, and straps, lugs for the strap. They weren't in the original Lorne, but this one they are. So there we go. There's a run through of the camera. Sorry, the tripod mount on the base. What about that? And so that's the camera really. So is it a Leica wannabe? Maybe. It certainly is very nicely constructed. Quite a substantial camera.
Celio, are you there?
I'm here. I'm trying to get back.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yes, okay. Sorry about that. Ay, where is my I didn't stop it. Well, I guess it will stop by itself. So, a beautiful camera. What can I tell you? It's not heavy. You don't need to use batteries with it.
It's just a box.
Yes, I love the design. When you put it in your face, it looks like it's a face, you know, with the two eyes.
Exemplifies that for you, really. It is indeed just
Sorry, I think the
plug ends, film back, maybe even a viewfinder hood. It's a system camera, I suppose.
give me 1 second, okay?
Around the late 1950s, early 1960s, and it was a successor to the C2.
How do I?
Also, as the Mamiya Flex.
I think I have the.
Yeah, just close your video window.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. Okay. Just 1 second.
Oh.
Let's stop that. Let's get rid of this thing. Okay. How do I go back to you guys?
Just stop sharing, please.
There. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, this company went under. It ended operations in 1962. The partner, Fritz Meinhardt, committed suicide. Apparently, he couldn't stand the loss of the business. The company ended up being sold to, was taken, it says here, the factory was taken over by Wild Weerbrook, a Swiss company specializing in surveying equipment, which later merged with Leiss to form Wild Lights, that is part of Leica. So what comes around goes around, and you know, from the same neighborhood, apparently was a very good success of a camera that never intended to compete with Leica, but to make a camera that was robust and then with a very nice technology. I like the double struck that you have on the camera, and this is the, you know, sounds beautiful. Yeah. I have a 90 lens also that comes with the camera. Yes, I've taken it for a ride. I will put maybe some color film one day to try to see how does it come. But interesting camera. Any questions? Have you?
We have a question. We have a question in the chat
about
box
the camera or
about the cameras. Jerry's asking, how much would the laundromat have cost? Laundromat have cost in the 1950s?
About well, they were saying about 44 pounds of that time was the equivalent of 900 pounds today, and this
That's like
camera,
almost $2,000 Canadian.
yeah, but
today.
you know, I've been doing some research on eBay or different pages in on the computer, and you know, they can go from $50 to $450. It all depends on the condition, and this is in a very beautiful condition. I have 2 lenses on that camera, but I'm not planning to get rid of it yet. So it's yeah, it's a very nice. I bought it because I love the design. I didn't know anything about the camera. until I got home and I started doing some research. But yes, it's one of those cameras that, you just feel in love with the design. That's it. It's a beautiful camera. It's a beautiful camera. The design is so nice.
How long have you had the camera for?
Probably 3 years. Yes. And I
And
think I paid maybe less than $100.
and how many rolls have you shot with it?
Actually just one. And it was a very expired roll. I just wanted to see how things were working with the camera, and that's it. But the thing is that I have so many cameras that I have to give them all a shot. So
Have you printed any of those pictures?
no, because the film the pictures that I shot were they were not the best. I developed it here at home, and I have some dust that came into the film, and so I figured, no, I'm not gonna waste my paper on. But it worked. The main thing is that the camera was working, and that's what is
Fantastic.
important. I love when you
Fantastic.
bring a camera, an old camera, back to life.
It is a fantastic feeling. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Lily.
You're very welcome.
All right, big
Thank
round of
you.
applause.
Thank you, guys.
All right, excellent. Well, I'm going to invite Cindy Motz to come up next.
Okay. Can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Clint asked me last night and I'm like, geez, where I go? So I got this. It's a marble encased daguerreotype. And you might have seen it before, but it's quite heavy. It's lighter than Lily's camera. So, but I think it's Carrara marble, and it's got, I don't know if I can get this so you can see it.
Oh, wow. Look at that. So that would have been
It's-
hand carved.
Yeah, and the marble, there's a Carrara marble column in the image. If I had myself organized, I would have found the pictures. But the glass is dirty, and I thought about taking it apart to clean it, but the back side has been all glued together. And anything that would dissolve the epoxy would dissolve the marble. So, but I think from the guy I bought it from at one of our shows, I think it might have been something looted from Italy during World War II. But it's hard to say. And then I showed it to somebody else, and this little slot here, if you can see it, that would have held a candle or something to slide in and out. So it just was really cool. This is all worn down, and this marble is better than this. This might have been corroded by incense or something in the church, because this part cleaned up nice, but this part was just grubby. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Wow. So originally, where would something like this, where would we find this?
I just assumed it was Italian.
But I mean, like would it be found in a home, in a church,
I think
in a cemetery?
could have been either. But it's really heavy. The cat didn't knock it over while she was running around on the counter. I see Lily's hand up.
It's very common in Europe. In the cemeteries, they put a little corner of the tombstone with a picture of the deceased person. I haven't seen that here in Canada, But it's very European to put even if
daguerreotype,
it's not
yeah.
a photo, it's like a little shrine, you know, where you will go and put,
Yeah, okay, that would make sense too.
yes,
'Cause I know at one of the Daguerrean Society symposiums, one of the young people did a series of daguerreotypes in New England cemeteries. And
yes,
now they're doing it with laser etching.
yes. Now
So
they do a laser imprint on the marble.
yeah.
But it's very common in Europe to have
And they
daguerreotypes.
have those porcelain faces or
Yeah,
the portraits on tombstones.
yeah,
And sometimes they would give the family some, and so so I don't buy them if they've been pried off a tombstone.
yeah.
So, and
Um,
it's got to weigh about 25 pounds, 25 pounds.
So not quite a pocket picture to carry
No,
around.
no, no.
We
I
got
see
Clint. Clint has a question.
just a really quick comment. That notion of putting an oval portrait of the deceased on the tombstone. I worked at a camera shop on St. Clair West, Toronto Photo Video, which used to be Collis Photo. There was a photographer on the south side of St. Clair, just west of Dufferin, on the south side. Interesting location. He was very Italian, and that was very much a tradition for him. That was one of his specialties. He produced photos on these oval plaques, essentially, and they were made to be attached to the tombstone. He did a booming business. I don't know if he's still in business, but he was a very busy man, and that's here in Toronto, and that was well into the 2000s.
Great.
Erwin had a question.
Yeah, I do. I know that this kind of technique was current in Montreal cemeteries, where my grandmother's buried. She died I think, around the time of the flu in 1918. Nearby, not on her, unfortunately, not on her stone, but on nearby stones, there are these ceramic portraits. Even though some of them have been around since 1918 and facing the sun, they're absolutely fresh. It's quite amazing. The one you have basically must be very early if it's a daguerreotype.
Yeah, it's probably 1850s.
Yeah, so this, but it was certainly done in Canada, in Jewish cemeteries. So I know
Yeah.
that for a fact. But what's amazing is that they're still absolutely fresh, even after like 100 years, facing the sun. So that the business of putting them into ceramic is very protective of them.
I think it was a porcelain, like firing. I
It
thought
could
it
be.
was a potter, but I think they fired it right on the porcelain, so it should have stayed okay.
Yeah. It's quite amazing as a process.
Yeah. And then you know what they look like.
Well, I know you see them in Montreal cemeteries.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Do you have another question, Erwin? I see your
No,
hand up again.
Oh, sorry.
Who's being Italian?
All right. Well, big round of applause, Cindy. For
Yeah.
Cindy. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh so what are you going to do with it?
My collection's going to the Clements Library, and if they want it, they don't want anything international. So I don't know what I'll do with it. If they don't want it, I think they'll want it though, just because the new people aren't as hard over as the old people were. So they also have a big place in the basement. Instead of expanding, or when they expanded, they went down. They dug down underground under the library, so they have a lot of space now for things.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
Should include a little candle with it.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't like that. It's not a place that collects paper.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you very much, Cindy. Big round of
Okay.
applause. That was really interesting. I never seen one quite so elaborate.
I had neither. I had to have it. It was
Yeah,
pricey.
no, it's fantastic.
I made
it's-
payments.
No, well, the thing is like it's so intricate, the design, the carving, the thickness of the marble, the quality of the marble. right? I mean, this was a person of a family, a person that perhaps was very loved, and also from perhaps a family of means.
Yeah, oh yeah, that they had to have money. They had to have money.
Wow.
Plus, people didn't have TVs and phones to distract them, and they cared about art. So,
Right, right, right. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So
okay.
next up, Marlene, how you feeling?
Hi. So I have thousands and thousands of photos. That's what I've been collecting since I'm 14, but I couldn't really get to them. I only picked out a couple from the top of a box. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
So I picked out 2 photos because I know people collect things. So I have a big collection, and this is not definitely my best. So do I hold it in front of my camera?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I love dogs, and you'll hear my dog barking in the background. So I love dogs, and I have a collection, and this isn't the earliest or the best one of, people with their dogs. And if anybody gets any great ones. So I do have a big collection of people with their dogs. And
Could you raise it up again and leave it in front of the camera for just
Yeah.
could you raise it up a little higher? Just a bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more. There we go. And can you bring it closer to the camera?
I don't know
Okay.
where the camera
All
is.
right, there we go. Okay, and raise it up a little bit more. A little more. A little more.
It's a new
Thank you.
laptop. I don't know where the camera is.
Oh,
So
that's fantastic. Thank you.
I love dogs, and it's just the way that people love their dogs so much. And the earlier ones, of course, you have to keep your dog still on a pedestal or wherever you have your dog. Is just absolutely amazing to me. How much people love their dogs in the early days, the carte de visites that I have of people propping up their dogs to take these pictures when it was very hard to take photographs of people. And I do have a lot of really interesting ones that are buried in boxes in rooms all over the place. And because it really does show how much people love their pets. And I like the begging dogs, which isn't a really, really good thing to like because you're making the dogs beg. And also is, the children with their dogs. Like some of them are grabbing their heads and trying to hold them still as the photograph is being taken. So it's just, it's beyond just collecting photographs at that point. And I collect Toronto photographs and things like this. So I wanted to put one other photograph. I hope I can hold it up properly. So if people do find things like that, I know people are into cameras or whatever. And I think I was talking to Clint about trying to identify this one. And sadly, I picked this one up in the summer at a show, but it wasn't my father's hotel in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. So I'm looking for the beer parlor that used to be at my father's hotel at the Brunswick Hotel in Moose Jaw. It took almost a whole city block. So I do have a lot of interiors of beer parlors, they used to call them. So this was one that I was hoping it was my father's, but sadly it wasn't, I don't think. But it is a Canadian one. And
Oh, beautiful.
yeah. So yeah, I have like, I don't know how many thousands of photographs. And I used to squirrel them away. I used to go to sales when I was like 14 years old and go downtown to St. Vincent de Paul sales and buy little boxes of things and hide them under my bed because my mother didn't want me to collect this stuff. So I just love it. I love images. I told Clint I used to work in a camera store whenever it used to be Young's Cameras on Yonge Street. Because I love cameras, but sadly I don't collect cameras, but I'm very interested in cameras. So I will join the Photographic Historical Society and I'll be one of your newest members. But this is very interesting and thank you for inviting me to come and be part of it.
Could you raise the picture again? Because when you raised the picture, Celio was talking and it blotted out the picture.
Oh, okay. Is it the one of the beer parlor?
That's right.
I'm not
Aha.
sure if you can see it. It is Canadian and it's probably Ontario,
Right.
but there was something in it that wasn't the Brunswick Hotel beer parlor in Moose Jaw, unfortunately. So yeah, so I'm trying to, find whatever I can from that, because when I was young, I used to run around the hotel and going into the beer parlor when it wasn't open. But yeah, there's tons and tons of photographs that I have, and like everybody else, if they collect photographs,
So
it's
where do you keep them?
I keep them in boxes all over my house, which isn't a really good thing, I suppose, because I live in a very old house that was built in 1903, so the heating isn't optimal.
Yeah, but I bet you can hide photographs better than cameras. And
Yes.
Clint is laughing because every time I buy a camera, I have to enter home like a thief to bring it into
Yeah,
my.
well, I have no one scolding me now about them, but the thing is they can get damaged. And unless you step on your cameras,
Yes,
it's sad to see. I mean, there's
I
one
know.
that I would be stepping on and a heel has gone through the middle of a photograph or something.
Yeah,
So it's just keeping them, in good condition in that. So being a
yes.
camera collector, it does take a lot more space. So, it's like what they said when people used to take photographs and they had the big cameras and they only had a few, shots at it. They had to pick
Yes.
out their best. So I guess with your cameras,
Yes.
you see lots of them, you have to think, I don't have the room, I got to pick out the best, right?
Yeah. Well, my husband says there is a law of physics.
Yes.
The more you bring in, you have to take out,
But
because
does that happen in reality or
no,
not?
not yet.
No, it doesn't, does it?
So
Yeah.
it's so fun. Now you were talking about how much you love dogs and people, and this is my newborn with the dog, the family,
Oh,
their dog.
that's
So
so,
he's
they're
lying on
both
the floor.
cute.
This photo in about 30 years is gonna be spectacular, seeing
Oh,
the little baby in the floor and the dog looking after.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's old postcards that are from the turn of the century, right after the turn of the century, that they had the guard dogs, right? That would guard
Yes,
over the babies.
yes.
Yes.
And this is what is happening here. It's like wherever the baby is, the dog is beside him.
Was a dog like that when your relative was pregnant?
Yes, yes. She will come and sniff and, thinking like, what's going on? But yeah, no, we were scared at the beginning because, somebody's taking over,
Yeah.
but he's incredible. She's incredible. She's there beside Charlie and no problem.
No, it looks like that the dog is guarding the baby like in the old postcards from
Yes.
100 years ago.
So what is your intention with your collection? Like,
I don't know. Everybody says downsize, downsize. So when you're collecting and you go somewhere and you say, I'll take the whole box, right? So to go through all the photographs, I don't know who collects photographs here,
and
but
have you considered making an exhibition or anything like that?
it would be amazing to actually ever do it. But I like some of the things that are even more modern, like from the 50s or 60s.
Oh yeah,
I have carte de visites and beautiful ones that probably have more value. But the goofiest one is this is I'll let other people speak. But the goofiest one is someone dressed up their dog like an artist, like from France, and put on a beret and
yeah,
put a canvas and put
yes,
a brush into the hand, and it looked like that the dog was like some French artist, and it's probably from the 50s or 60s, and it's
wow.
probably not of great value, but it's so weird and I love it. Sometimes more than, let's say, some of the other ones that are, let's say, a lot earlier and maybe of more value. It's just so strange that the look on the dog's face when it looks like it's painting a picture, to me, makes me
Yeah,
laugh.
incredible. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, Marlene, welcome to the PHSC, and thank you so much for joining us tonight as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yay.
All right. Now, what is the funkiest dog picture that you have?
Oh God. I like the strange ones. So, I mean, normal strange is people would put their dogs on top of horses and they're, or, a big one that's vintage is, people would put corn cob pipes on their dogs or dress them up. You do see those ones, but the expression of the dogs, like the one I said I like the best, is just the expression of the dog being made to look like a French painter and it's looking back, it's just so crazy, it's just a crazy photo. So, I have a lot of those ones, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the ones that are, years, decades and decades earlier are my favorites.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Laura Jones has a comment.
Yes. I wanted to speak directly to the speaker. I'm not sure what her name is, but I think she should continue collecting because I can see her passion. And after you've done this for a number of years, then you have a complete collection that is unified and becomes valuable because your enthusiasm continues. I have way too many things, and I'm actually trying to concisely get what I really, really care about. And there are people who care about the photographs, and I am actually donating my negatives to the Art Gallery of Ontario, and they had asked for them. And even some of the photos, I had a gallery in the 60s and 70s, and the Women's Photography Co-op ran out of that gallery, and they wanted the letters from the co-op because a lot of women were writing us, and we wrote back as a collective. So we don't know now what's going to be valuable. They could end up being very important because there will be more and more information about them as time goes on.
Oh, thank you so much, because when you collect certain things, you're on an island by yourself in a weird way, right? And
absolutely.
You love it.
But I've been in the Photographic Historical Society since the 1970s, and they have supported me so often with other people who are completely into something different, but they still, if they find something, they'll say, oh, what do you think of this? And giving information to each other. So it is a very supportive group that way. And so you do feel alone when you're working on it sometimes, and it's hard to make decisions. But if you go with what you like, in a way you can't go wrong.
Well, thank you so much for your support. And when you have your next show and tell, I'll show you the photo that I'll find the photo that everybody is square dancing with paper bags on their head, or Ed Sullivan is at the beach trying to look like a He-Man. I'll get the really crazy one.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Marlene. Thank you, Laura. Big round of applause. All right. Well, it is my pleasure now to invite center stage the one and only Mark Singer.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good. I started collecting cameras because I was collecting radios and record players before, and my mother said you should start collecting something smaller. So I started collecting miniature cameras, and this is one of them that I have. It was brought out in 1959. It's a Mamiya 16. Oops.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. And what the most amazing thing is, it's got a little photo eye on the side, and it can be either shutter dependent or aperture dependent on the camera. So, and that was quite an advancement in those days of having that type of automation. That's why it's called the automatic camera. And it uses a f2.8 25 mil lens, and you can go shutter speeds from B to 200. So it's an interesting little camera. And this is where you load it. There's no film in it, but I'm sorry. There's where the cassette would go in. Yeah. And it's got a little. It also has a little pop-up viewfinder. It pops up. And it also has bright frames on it, so it's a very interesting camera made by Mamiya Seiko in 1959. It was brought out. And according to McEwen's, it was back in I had the last McEwen's. It was about $60. This camera. I would say it should be a lot more though. It also you can also put a flash in it, and there's a flash terminal right there. It's amazing all the and it's pretty heavy for a little camera. It weighs about a pound or something like that. Oh, that's better for the front of it. But they put a lot into a small camera, so it was interesting. Thank you.
Hey, Mark, does the photocell still work?
I don't know. I've never tried a film in it like it. I would say these photocells are usually pretty, but it's quite a process to change over from aperture dependent to shutter speed dependent.
How long have you owned that particular camera for?
I don't know. I've had it 10, 15 years, I think. Got it at a camera show. I thought it was just an interesting camera. So another small camera that I have in my collection.
I love how those miniature cameras are so much like clockwork.
Yeah.
Like all the little gears and all of the different things and ratios and whatnot.
Yeah, like this is just for the aperture right here, for the automatic aperture.
What is your favorite sub-miniature camera?
I like, well, the famous sub-miniature camera is my Tyler's Pocket Tidbit camera. I think I showed it at another show and tell one time. Yeah. Yeah. And it was, well, I like my Ricoh Golden 16, which was a camera, which was a 16 mil camera, which came with an accessory lens on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, do you intend to take photographs with this camera at some point, or have you taken any photographs with it?
No, I haven't. They even said in McEwen that it's very hard to find the cassettes now for them.
Oh, right. I see what you mean. You have to cut the film. What is it? 9 mil? 16?
16 mil film.
So you have to trim it or cut it, whatever, to that height by hand probably, and then roll it into the cassettes.
Yeah. Or they did at the time. They had different types of films they sold with them.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mark.
I think I may have used one of the standard cassettes. I think there was kind of a standardization for the cassettes for most of the 16 mil movies.
Have you tried to find some of that on eBay and try the camera to see if it works? No.
If I still had my darkroom, I would have tried it, but I haven't had my darkroom since I moved up to Aurelia.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice camera.
It is nice. I love all the dials and
Yeah.
the little thing. Oh, it's such a right, such a like 1950s
Right.
right thing, and it's dense. It's all metal,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
It's solid,
Right.
right? You don't feel any, nothing shakes in it,
Nope.
nothing rattles.
Nothing at all.
All right. So thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay. Lorne's asking, can we all unmute now? Lorne, do you have a question or a comment for Mark? All right. Our next presenter that I'd like to invite is Jeri. Are you ready?
Sorry about that. I have a mouse that goes to sleep periodically. Okay, so this is actually part 2 to a presentation that I did, it was back in September or something when we did that. And it was on 3 different cameras. One is a kind of an antique camera, and the other are novelty cameras, which I love novelty cameras, and they're fun. They're just fun. And so the first one, this is the I have a PowerPoint on this too. So the first one I'm going to talk about, this is the Horizon, which is a panoramic camera that was made in the Soviet Union from 1967, I believe, to 1970. It's either 1972 or 74. This particular model was made in 1969. And it was made for an English-speaking market, because everything, all the text and everything is in English. And what it does is it uses 35 millimeter film, and it does basically like half frame or full frame panoramic images. So yeah, so when you get maybe about 19 or 20 per 36 exposure roll. So the other 2 cameras that I've got, so let's bring up my little PowerPoint with a couple of images. So this is a novelty camera. This is a Holga, it's a Holga 120 WPC. This is a pinhole camera. The f-stop has been calibrated at 135, so it's f135. So you can expose from there. There obviously is no shutter speed, no shutter or anything like that. I mean, this is your shutter right here. So this and your watch, because you're looking at exposures in the roughly the 10 to 20 second range if you're using like a roll of, say, Pan F, which has an ISO 50 or whatever. So there's no lens here. This is a pinhole. And I think you can kind of see that if I put that right up to the camera. So you can see that little pinhole there. And it uses 120 size film. And there's also an insert, so your photos can be either 6x9 or 6x12. So I typically use a 6x9. I haven't tried the 6x12 yet. And third camera I'm going to show, again, this is another wide camera. This is a sprocket rocket that came from lomography. So this is what it looked like. I think I ended up with the purple one because it was on sale. They come out in different colors, and they tend to have their favorite colors, and purple was not their favorite. It uses 35 millimeter film. It's got a little bit of flexibility in it. It's got 2 shutter speeds, N, which I think means normal, and B, which is bulb. And it's got 2 shutter speeds on it. It's cloudy and sunny. And yeah. And what it does is it exposes from the top of the sprocket to the bottom of the sprocket. Now, for some weird reason, they've included a little insert so that you can not expose your sprockets. They'll cover your sprockets. Now, I don't know why, but it did include this weird little insert as well. And it's well, what I found with it is you probably should be shooting with ISO 400 film. I mean, I don't know what the aperture on it is, but I would guess it's maybe somewhere around f11 or f16 or something like that. So I'll just show you really quickly some images from this thing, from these little cameras. Share this. Get my PowerPoint here. Somewhere here. Just a second. If I even had it open. Give me a moment. There we are. Okay.
Okay, it seems you're sharing one of your setting windows.
Well, just a second here. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Is that okay now? You see my setting window?
Yeah, your microphone and your speaker windows settings.
I'm not seeing them here. I don't know. Do you want me to stop and we'll start again?
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay. How's that?
We're not seeing anything yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sharing yet. There we go.
So we can see your slide presentation.
Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So it's called 3 cameras. All right. So here's our horizon. Horizon. Clint knows how to pronounce this. I'm no good.
Horizont. Accent on the last syllable. Horizont.
Horizont. Okay. Well, we'll go with that. All right. So here we go. So this is this is our panoramic view. So I will say the lens on this thing is really not the best. You know, it is what it is. This is another one here. Yeah. So that's another view of the hotel in Quebec that's probably going to be gone by next year. Now, this camera is not in perfect shape. So this is an example of some problems. And if you look down, you can see this bar over here, which is, I believe that's the lens moving irregularly. It has been in for repair. We thought it was fixed. It's not. It's intermittent. So it's going back. They're going to look at it again, see what we can do with it. So there we are with that. So, okay, so here's the Holga. And these are some views with the Holga. And again, like it's pinhole. It's not the sharpest thing in the world. But it's kind of fun, you know. You set it up and you just, you know, you set your watch. It's like basically your exposure is in the range of 10 to 20 seconds. And it's just a lot of fun to use. So there's one view with it. This is another view with it. Excuse me. And so here we are. Here's our sprocket round. Okay. So you can see how it goes from the top to the bottom. The most difficult thing actually is getting these things scanned and finding something that you can mount this in, because you can only scan it on a flatbed. There isn't any software that you can do it with. So anyway, that was a little bit awkward. There we go. So here we go. It's another view with the sprocket rocket. And this is our last one with the sprocket rocket. So there we go, folks. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Wow, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, which of these 3 cameras have you had the most fun shooting?
The Horizon T. Clint's gonna The horizont. And I love the Holga. I'm really the pinhole. The pinhole is great fun.
I've got a question for you. What's the reason for showing the sprockets as part of the picture?
It's just a novelty item, Mark. That's
Mhm.
really all it is.
Mhm.
I don't think it works. I've seen a few images where actually it really does enhance the image. I don't think it really does with those particular three that I have. But,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I have another novelty camera coming for Christmas. And I found out about that because when Canada Post delivered it, they showed up with their little thing, their little pad there, and I ended up getting dinged for the duty on it. But this is a cardboard camera with a liquid filled lens. So I don't know what that's going to do. I have no idea. I have to build it myself too. It's basically a box of parts. So we'll see. We'll see.
And what format is that paper camera?
120. It's called a Lomo Mod #1. I guess there's a #2. I didn't see one, but there might be one, or maybe there's one in the works.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Jeri. I was really blown away by the Holga image. I think it was the Holga that you had of the water.
Oh
The
yeah.
pinhole. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful image.
Yeah, it works. It works particularly well on those kind of wide scape images. You
It
know,
almost
you
looked like
tried
it, like infrared.
Pardon?
It almost looked like an infrared picture. Right, some of those values. It's really, really beautiful. It has that glow. I don't know what it is that the pinhole camera brings to the image, but it's kind of like glowing or something.
I keep trying different things with it because just to find out what kind of images it seems to lend it to best. So
Great.
and
Well,
it's kind of awkward because you're on a tripod with it all the time. So.
fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Jeri. Big round of applause.
Thank you.
All right. So next up, Laura, are you ready? All right. We can't hear you yet.
Okay. So I'll hold it up. I think you could up. Can you see it? It's a big book. Oops, am I holding it? Yeah, it looks like it's almost opposite. It's by Clara Guccia. And the entire book is by her, and it's over 200 pages. She won the Bank of Nova Scotia Award for 2024. And I've known her since the Baldwin Street Gallery, and she and her husband had an exhibit at my gallery, and I think it was about 1972 or so. And we just became fast friends. And so I love this book because it shows her work from the 70s until fairly recently, maybe in the 2020s. And she worked oftentimes with a view camera, and the wideness of her skill, I've known her for years, but I didn't realize she had such a broad range of topics. And so she has many that are architectural, that are abandoned, mostly industrial buildings that she has gone in and photographed with the view camera, 4" by 5" negatives. And she captured the light and made the abandonment, the loneliness of these buildings. You could almost feel what the buildings were like, and her tonal quality, everything to do with photography, she just seems to have mastered. And then she also took pictures of her daughter growing up and her granddaughter, and they're magnificent. And she posed them. They were a little bit more formal than when she first had started out as a photographer. And Clara Gucci was also very much an activist. So one of the ways that we got to know each other was that she was fighting in Montreal to save her neighborhood. And she has a book about the process of trying to do that and the photographs that they took during that process. And I was trying on Baldwin Street to get a high transformer station not built, not tear down. Our building was torn down, but to not tear down, build the rest of them, to build a high rise transformer station, hydro station. And ours, we were successful, and the city actually purchased the land and built social housing on it. And so now it exists, and the gallery had to close from where it was and moved into that building that the neighborhood, we'd gotten together and fought for it. So to have that connection with Clara and the connection of the Women's Photography Co-op, and Clara has told this story before, but the Women's Photography Co-op with Pam Harris and June Clark and myself and some other women, we went to Montreal to put it up in a gallery in Montreal, Centaur Gallery. And David and Clara weren't home. We arrived with our exhibit and all our stuff and 2 kids and a pregnant photographer. And she didn't answer the door. And it turned out that she had gotten arrested, that she and David, her husband, had gotten arrested. And so they had to spend the night in jail. And that's why these women from Toronto trying to put up their exhibit couldn't stay there. So we did get to stay. The gallery owner allowed us to give a place to stay. So I was very attached to this on an emotional level, but also because it is, every page is a large format taking up the whole page, and very, very sharp and beautiful book. So I brought 2 books, and I'm trying not to acquire more books. So to acquire both of these books recently is partly because I care about the people who made the books, but also both of them, the quality is amazing. And this is the other one. And let's see, I'll hold it up. It is, it's got a little picture on the bottom that sort of expresses some of what is in it. And it's by Jess Dobkin. And it is, she says in the introduction that she has a riot full of color photographs. And what she really means is that the colors are so much a part of every image. And she also she's a performing artist, and she includes the photographs from her performance. She had a store that was at the Chester subway in Toronto that was sort of a newsstand, but also sold art and photographs and kind of all sorts of things. And they did performance art at the Chester subway. So this book is her experience, and it's very much a collective of women who were involved in the performances that they did, and it's a very personal archive. So both books are quite personal in their content, that they believe so strongly in what they're writing about and what they're photographing, and so they're both really marvelous books, both in the 200 to 300 page, which most books are not getting published that are that large, and not that, but they're very, very excellent books. So.
Wow, fantastic. When did these books come out?
Well, this one came out, let's see, I guess Clara Gucci's came out about 2 months ago. And the other one came out almost a year ago. It won an award for the editing, Jess Dawkins' book, and it's beautifully, beautiful design to it too. So they're both fairly recent. Jess lives across the street from me, and Clara visits me on a regular basis. So I care about the artist and about their books.
And where can we find these books?
Well, I think that Jess sells them directly, and I think hers, I'm not sure where they're available, and Clara's was given out to people at her award dinner. So I don't know whether it was just printed for that event or whether it's available. Jess's is certainly available and likely to be in some stores, probably the Art Gallery of Ontario would. But I'll ask Jess if anybody is interested in knowing where to get it.
Now, did you get the books autographed?
No, but oh my gosh. No, I didn't. But thank you for reminding me, because yes, I've got to do that, because yes, thank you. Good suggestion. I don't, yeah.
All right, great. I'd like to invite any questions for Laura.
Laura and I had a little bit of a discussion earlier on today. We talked about beautiful books, especially photo books, and my goodness, how expensive it is to print them, and to ship them. Clearly, Laura has a couple of books there, coffee table books. As a matter of fact, one of them, as I said to Laura earlier, is big enough to almost be a coffee table. So, but Celio and I had a discussion earlier today about bringing in a very fine publication called Photo Researcher, and just to publish it, print it, and then ship it here from Vienna. The costs are just, my goodness, it's just. And I think maybe some of us are a little old fashioned. We still appreciate looking at an amazing photograph in an amazing book. But
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, to have a book that is published and printed beautifully, and you can open the book and it smells like a new book. It's not like most books don't smell the way that these books smell. And when I opened it, I went, oh my gosh, it feels like a real book, not just mass-produced book.
Correct.
Well,
yes.
Lili has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Lili has a question. What is Clara's last name?
Gucci. It's Gutsze.
Could you show us the cover again?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see the name?
Can you scooch it over to the left a little bit, or to your right? We could only see Clara in the first couple of letters.
This way?
No.
Yeah, sideways.
There we go. Yes. Freeze.
Tell
okay.
me what to do.
Up a little bit.
Oh, can you see it?
Perfect.
Oh, my.
I always heard it pronounced Gucci. Gucci.
I'll type the name.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, in the corner.
I think there's a comment, I think on mine. Was that from mine, Donald? It has a cloudy setting.
Oh, Donald. Yeah, well, you were presenting, Donald. I hadn't seen this while you were presenting. If it has the cloudy setting, the camera must be set for the British market.
Well, that's very possible because Lomo's a European company. So yeah, they would definitely be selling in England and, you know, throughout Europe and also North America. So yeah, very, very likely.
Great. All right. Lili has made me aware that she's having issues turning her camera on. Like, if you are experiencing any issues with your icons appearing, disappearing, I've been noticing that with Lili, both her microphone and her camera icons are disappearing entirely. Do let me know. I don't know what that is or how to fix that. But in case that you're unable to turn on your camera or your microphone, I would like to invite you to let me know through the chat box or to send your questions through the chat box in the meantime. Okay. All right. You're going to reboot. That might help. Okay. That will probably, because I've seen them intermittently going on and off. Great. Well, another big round of applause, Laura, because you got 2 books, so we're gonna do 2 rounds of applause. All right. Okay. Clint, batter up.
Hello, folks. I have just recent acquisitions. Let's just call it that. And my recent acquisitions are 3 cased images, right? And whenever you see these out there in the real world, you hope for the best. Celio, I want to share my screen. How do I do that? It's been a while, bud, since I've done this properly.
All right, should be a green button at the bottom of your.
There we go. And if I do, I click on it. Oh boy.
Yeah, click on it, and then you'll have a number of options as to what to share popping up.
Content only. Okay, and then go. How do I make it go? Shoot. I see presenter layout, and it's got my first image there. But how do I? Oh, share. I'll be okay when I wake up. Yikes. Oh, there. Yikes. Do you see it? Do you see 3 cased images? Please say
yeah.
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 And now if I do this, do you see the second one? The second image? It's just 1 cased image?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so wow, yay. It's been a while since I've done so. So here we go. So it's 3 cased images, you know, a little one and 2 bigger ones. So let's proceed. So I, you know, before I acquired them, I had a chance to look at it. And this is like a cutie patootie. It's a 9th plate, whatever. It's got a very nice clasp. It's got a lot of wear. It's that pressed leather stuff. But it's got the sort of the gold lining around it, so it kind of looked attractive. And the gentleman who sold them to me, he kept going on about how, yes, this is a Toronto family. This is a Toronto family. So of course that intrigued me like a ton. And yeah, no. So let's just like go through the ick first. So this is the first one. As you can see, it's a nice, it's a young lady, you know, with a bonnet. She's sitting in the chair looking just miserable, really, really, really miserable. And you can tell a lot about these things by the weight. So I knew because of its reflectivity or lack thereof and the weight, it wasn't a daguerreotype. Sometimes you can get an ambrotype to fool you, but then again, an ambrotype is a nice chunk of glass, quite a bit of weight to it. And the confusion starts when you know it's a tintype and it has a sheet of glass in front of it. Yeah, not to be. Here we go. I've taken it apart, and it is but attending. And contributing to my kind of sadness is the fact that there's nothing, you know, particularly interesting inside the case. No name, no lock of hair. Meh. Okay. So we'll just put that one away and I don't know, and carry on. So here we go. So here's the next image, and this is a proper daguerreotype. Happy. And this is a young boy, and as you can see, the cloth that's on top of the table that he's leaning on, there's been some blue highlighting. I have had an expert tell me that this is a young man, just by the attire and the way the hair is parted, etc. My expert is Abel Land. He's often at Aberfoyle. He's got a setup there. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to military uniforms, vintage men's clothing, and vintage women's clothing. As a matter of fact, he can date clothing to within a few years. It's quite remarkable. Quite a remarkable talent. So I showed him this, and as well as the other. I'm going to skip to the other image, which is a mom and a little boy. Let's go back to the boy. Here we go. Nice shape. I think I'll have a certain expert clean up the glass because there's little specks and I have taken it apart, and again, sadly, there's no information in behind. So you know, based on like the quality of this daguerreotype and the second one, this one, folks. I said, yeah, you know, what's the deal? How much? And I acquired them. Well, I took them back to where I was set up, and I took a closer look. And obviously, this has been monkeyed with, because you see where the image is, and maybe it hasn't. I got to talk to an expert. You see this, and it says Bogardus, Greenwich Street, corner, Barclay, New York. So all of a sudden, woohoo, I have a maker, Bogardus. I'll give you a bit of a bio on Bogardus, but an incredibly prolific daguerreotypist, photographer. So I was pretty happy about that. And then, of course, I looked at the next image. Now, Abel, who is an expert on this sort of thing, had sort of looked at this and said, Clint, you do realize that the young man, the boy in both these images is the same fella. And, you know, you look at it and you go, you're right. And it's the same outfit, same schmuck. One is covered up with a little jacket and one is not, but the facial features are bang on. It's the same fella. And so I'm thinking, this is yay, you know, two daguerreotypes, you know, one of a young lad and one of him with his mom. Well, it gets a little bit better. And I didn't initially see this because it's a little bit faded. Let me see if I can enlarge this. Is that working, folks? Is that enlarging in front of you?
Yes, it
Good.
is.
Thank you. Now, if you look carefully here, it actually says Bogardus. So it's another daguerreotype by the same New York City photographer. So it would appear that this family was a steady clientele of Abraham Bogardus. Let me just give you a quick bio. It's a name I suspect you've all heard, but just while we're here, let me give you just a tiny little bit of background. Born in 1822, American daguerreotypist and photographer, obviously, very prolific. It is estimated that he made somewhere between 200,000 and 250,000 daguerreotypes during his career. I mean, that's amazing. Opened up a studio on Broadway in 1846, and he became very successful. He was well taught, well educated in this art. 1868, amazing photographer. He helped found the National Photographic Association, and he was El Presidente for about 5 years. He's listed as a photographer, as a daguerreotypist in a number of places. Greenwich Street, Washington Street in Newark was a branch. So it was, relatively, not miles and miles to go between the branches, but still far enough apart that where you can look after two different sort of communities. The Newark location of Washington moved to Clinton Street, and then he started out at 217 Greenwich in New York, moved up the street to 229 Greenwich, 1851, taking over Root's old gallery there, and then had the Broadway studio kind of souped up in 1862, and continued there for quite a while, and branching out up Broadway at 1153 Broadway. He had an interesting sort of career. He was involved. This is an interesting bit of sort of photographic history, and we touched upon this at our last event, the Halloween Zoom and Tell, or the Boo and Tell. Bill Mumler, interesting name. He was a spirit photographer, and huge hue and cry. He was accused of fraud by many individuals, including P.D. Barnum, the circus guy. And Barnum hired Bogardus, our photographer here, to actually make a photograph of a spirit or a ghost. And he said, do one of Abraham Lincoln. And then this is presented as evidence at Mumler's trial to demonstrate to how easy it is to make a fake image of a ghost. So, didn't go Mumler's way. Anyway, he continued on, Mr. Bogardus, Abraham, in partnership with several others, continuing well into the 70s, including various other photographers. He wanted to retire in 1884. By that point, he's 60 something. And he advertised in one of our favorite journals, the Philadelphia Photographer, wishing to retire from the photographic business. I now offer my well-known establishment for sale. After 38 years continuous existence in this city, the reputation of this gallery is too well known to require one word of comment. That's a humility going on here. The stock of registered negatives is very valuable, containing a large line of regular customers and also very many of our prominent men, presidents, senators, etc., for which orders are constantly received. So, so that was kind of a thing. If you photograph the president, you can count on resales again and again and again and again and again and again. So this was a marvelous archive. And then he says entire apparatus, first class, Dallmeyer lens, and so on and so forth. For further information, call Abraham Bogardus, 878 Broadway, corner of 18th Street. And so, yeah, he was very successful and settled in Brooklyn, New York, on Madison Street, where he passed away in the company of friends and family in 1901. So there you go, a very successful career. It sort of belies, what various and sundry dealers tell you. Will this do my stop share? Does that get me back to stopped in the share? Oh, good. That's exactly what I wanted. Change will do me good. Don't. A dealer will tell you, oh yeah, Clint, these are Toronto people. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Maybe they ended up in Toronto eventually, but not at the time these photos, these daguerreotypes were taken. So, I did not have huge expectations, but all of a sudden, two daguerreotypes of the same young fella wearing the same schmuck, and by the same, and both images are identified as to the maker. So there you go. Adventures at an antique show, in a nutshell.
All right. Pretty cool.
Yeah, lucky me.
Yeah, I noticed the what is that part called? The part, is it the mat? The golden mat that surrounds the photographs. They seem to have the same pattern.
Actually, the more I showed, I get all my friends to do the heavy lifting, right? It's a similar shape. Yes, it is an identical shape, but the one with mom has actual engravings impressed into it. So the one of this is flat, 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 and the other one, I suspect it's a little later, has now, quality good, Bogartis likely. I do have the sense that this, I'm kind of surprised that I don't know if you can see this, but the maker's name is actually on the back of the case. So when you say, here, have a look at my son, you would expect the maker's logo to be on the front. It's on the back. So I think, I don't know. I think somebody may have at some point monkeyed with this. I'd have to show, somebody a little bit more knowledgeable than me in this milieu, but that's my gut feeling. But I'm still happy with the actual images and the fact that it's impressed with his,
So how much would you pay for something like that?
thousands and thousands.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
You know me. I'm frugal, right? I'm frugal.
Yeah, I know, but
back in the day, it would have been the equivalent of a couple of $1,000s per.
It would have been
image.
a bunch. It would have been a bunch.
Yeah.
But in the the daguerreotypes, I mean, golly, there was a time, Lily, about pre-COVID, daguerreotypes with a little bit of tinting, they were going for $200-300. Daguerreotypes went through the stratosphere, and now stuff like this is, normally relatively boring stuff, $50 to $100. But I really like the fact that it's got the maker's name here.
Yeah,
that's a
that's
premium.
the interesting part.
But nobody noticed that. Admittedly, including me until a little bit later on. The venue where I was has horrible lighting. Horrible lighting. You could be looking at a customer standing 3 feet away from you, and you're trying to figure out if you recognize the person. It's in a banquet hall that had a lot of spot lighting, so the shadows were just, so I'm looking at this thing. I mean, it could have been a daguerreotype of a dog for all I knew, somewhere in there. So there.
Great. Excellent. So I'm kind of like keeping my eyes here on the chat box, see if I see any comments. Fantastic presentation, Clint. Thank you very much. All right, next up. Are you ready, Mr. Sam Carpick?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, hold on. Let me just get my camera situated.
Do you need to share your screen by any chance?
No, I should be okay with just the camera.
Okay, great. No.
Okay.
Your microphone is very good. You're coming in very loud.
Thank you. Okay, can everybody see me? Hi. Okay, today I'll sort of be going through. I have a couple cameras to show, none for very long, but I'll be sort of going through a little bit of camera history and sort of 35mm camera history. So first, I have a camera which I've gotten maybe around a month and a half ago, and it is a Leica 1A. This one I found at in the Sunday Antique Market, the one at the Small Arms Building.
Marlene show.
Yes, it's Marlene's show. And I got it for a very good price. Which ask me later, but anyway, but more about this camera. This specific one is from 1930. They started with the Leica 1A, or the Leica Model A, I should say. They started with those in about 1925. This one's from about I think late 1930. Um, the serial number when I first saw it, I thought it was 20002 or 20002. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually 29902. So, because it was covered in so much dirt and filth that I couldn't really tell. Um, Now it's actually, well, I've done a full service job on it, so you can see my computer's reflection in it. It's really like it turned out really nice. Um, First, these were released with, I believe, what's called an L-Max lens. This is a later lens. It's an Elmar, which I think they made the Elmars the 50 millimeter 3.5 Elmars they made up until around the mid 50s, and this one's much like the rest of the camera's fittings. It's plated in a very nice nickel, which of these old late 1920s, early 1930s cameras, I really like the styling of, with the nice painted black and or the black enamel and the nickel. Um, this camera, it's very worn. I was worried when I got it because the lens was rather cloudy looking, but I will say I'm very picky with the lenses that I use, because I like, even a little like cleaning scratch will upset me. But this is like, considering the lens's age, there's no haze, no cleaning scratches or nothing. So I'm very happy. Like, what I think is that this camera, it had been, held by some collector, and it had been taken care of and serviced, and then it had been put in some attic. So, when I got it, I think that the vendor that I got it from had gotten it from some estate. Um, and so it had just been, sitting around and collecting dust. Like, it was covered in like a thick layer of grime and, corrosion and whatnot. But, I took it apart fully. I cleaned it up, and it's a really nice camera. Everything's smooth with it. Um, you sort of get a good idea of, this was very revolutionary for the time, because it had, um, I mean, apart from leaf shutters, focal plane shutters didn't really have uh, this compact a size and this great a variability of shutter speeds. Like, this goes from 20th of a second all the way up to a 500th and bulb. So it's a very nice camera, and also very revolutionary for the time. Um, from this sort of started a very long lineage, which spanned around 25, 30 years of not just made by Leica or made in Germany, but of sort of these what people call Barnack style cameras, which is named for the designer of this camera, Oscar Barnack, who is sort of the father of Leica. Apart from Ernst Leitz, uh, he's maybe he's probably the person most responsible for Leica being the company it is. And I actually have, here's my pocket Leica book, and there's this small picture of him in there. Yeah, there's about one picture of him that people really like to use, and it's that one. So you'll see that photo everywhere. It's him, and I think he's got, might be a Leica 1 on the table, but I can't really tell. I think it might be either a Leica 1 or a Leica 3. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So, these sort of Barnack style cameras, they all have the same layout with the shutter knob here, the shutter button here, the shutter speed selector here, some sort of viewfinder arrangement, whether it be a rangefinder or, as with this one, it doesn't have a built-in rangefinder, it's just a viewfinder, and rewind knob here, of course. And this sort of small form factor, whether it be rounded corners or squared off corners, as you'll see later in one of my other example cameras. Um, this this Leica 1A was very early in that it doesn't have an interchangeable lens. Um, Later on, they would make an interchangeable mount, which is the L39 mount, which is named for its 39 millimeter wide thread. This one only has a fixed lens, so it can't be removed, and it can be focused by let's see if I can get a good angle of it. Yeah, there's a little infinity lock that's sort of shaped like a hockey stick, and you can unlock it and then focus the lens. This one actually goes, it's an unusual one. It actually goes all the way down to 1.5 feet. You can see down there, yeah, it goes down to 1.5 feet, which many of the later cameras could not do. They could only go down to 1 meter. Anyway, my next camera that I'll show is sort of almost on the other opposite end of the era. This is a Canon 4SB2. It's a very long name. It's the Roman numeral, so it's IVSB2. This camera is from 1955 and sort of gives us an idea of about how much this design progressed over the 25 years in between the two. This camera is from, I think, either November or December of 1955, so it is almost exactly 70 years old right about now. So I also got this pretty recently, and you can notice that it's very similar in design, even being along a quarter century removed to the Leica 1. It's got the lens in the same place. It's got the shutter dial in the same place. It's got the same sort of design. Now, I will say, and this is another example camera that I'm not going to give you a detailed look at, but this is a Leica 3C, and very similar, but also you can sort of see where the Canon took most of its appearance from. Yeah, those look basically identical. Like even the little step up here, everything. One thing I will say is that the Canon 4 is a much more usable camera. I mean, it has a rangefinder, so you can more accurately focus. It's got basically everything you could ever want. It has a little magnifier for the viewfinder, so you can go. There's I guess I'll flip it over. There's f 1 times and 1.5 times. So f is your 50 millimeter field of view, and then you can magnify it to 1 times. That's like just the size that you'd see with your eyes. So no magnification at all, and then 1.5 times. So with the 1.5 times, you can get very, very accurate magnification, which without having to switch your eyes between windows, which you have to do with your Leica 3. Because there's one window which is magnified for the rangefinder, and then the other which is just your standard I don't know. Oh yeah, you can see. It's your standard field of view. So it's Yeah, it's just it's a very useful system because you don't have to, you have the option to well, you don't have to move your eye. Um, a couple other improvements. Um, the shutter dial on this, well, compared to the original Leica 1, they're about the same size. The shutter dial, about the same size. For whatever reason, with the Leica 3, the Leica 3 cameras, they made them really tiny. I don't know why, but they're just sort of inconvenient to use. So that's another reason why I like the Canon more. And it also has this neat feature where it has a little, the indicator for the shutter speed is in the middle of the dial. So whereas with the Leica 1, if I release the shutter, before you wind it, you only know the right shutter speed once you're fully wound. So so you can only set it once it's wound. But with the Canon, it's already pointing to it. So it's at a 60th of a second. I could set it to an 1,000th of a second, and then I'll wind it, and I can fire, and it works just fine. So and this camera originally was so it's a very, very useful design. For the time when this camera was released, this one's from 1955, but the Canon 4 SB2 was first released in 1954. If you know your camera history, another notable camera was also released in 1954, the Leica M3, which I don't have, but I have a nice illustration on in the tattered cover of my Leica book. Anyway, so the Canon engineers were really blindsided by the release of the M3, and so this was sort of meant to be, and ignoring the M3, this was probably the best camera that was out then. And in my opinion, I honestly like it better than M3 just because of its size. Um, you know, and I mean, all things considered, it works just about as good as and it's just as smooth really as any Leica. I mean, I was surprised that it's as smooth as it is. Um, like you really have to feel it to believe it. Maybe just because I got a good example, but it's really nice. But so in my opinion, for the time, I guess ignoring my bias and ignoring the Leica M3, this is probably the best camera you could have gotten in 1955. Now, this isn't as far as the sort of Barnack design progressed. I don't have it with me, but I have this nice little pamphlet which was very often lost in copies of your pocket Leica book. Um, this one I got for I think $2 at a yard sale, and tucked in it was this little pamphlet on the Leica 3G. I assume because when this book was released, this copy is from 1957, it was a new camera. So about 3 years after the Canon 4 was released, you'd get the Leica 3G, which was also screw mount versus the M3, which was M mount, and was pretty much the pinnacle of that design. But even still, I think that this Canon was in some ways better because while it didn't have any sort of frame lines, it did still have a combined rangefinder and viewfinder, which Leica could never seem to get right on their screw mount cameras on the on the Leica 3 cameras. They never really implemented that. whereas on the M cameras they did just fine because they had a bigger viewfinder. Anyway, but that's besides the point. So you sort of get an idea of the history of this style of cameras, and from 1925 to 1957, they all stayed, this looks very different, but in a relative sense, in terms of the shutter mechanism and things like that, they changed in terms of, getting a bit more reliable, and using, instead of just using a like just an axle and a hole, they would use a ball bearing or something. But generally they stayed relatively similar. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. So I just wanted to
Thank you
show
very
off
much.
the various eras of cameras that I had in front of me, and I hope you found it interesting. Thank
Very
you.
interesting. Now, one of the things that it makes me think about the design and how it was picked up by other manufacturers and used, right? I think
Yeah.
Jeri made a very important comment here that Leica pretty much created the template, right?
Oh,
For all
definitely.
35
Yeah.
millimeter and later cameras. In your research, um, have you come across any sort of clues or indications that the designers, the engineers of this camera body in Germany were at all influenced by the Bauhaus or any of these, modernist movements?
I mean, that's sort of, design's not really my specialty, but I will say, I more see that in Leica, it was more of like a sort of almost utilitarian sort of thing where, um, like I've tried, at a point, I tried to see, you can't really make this any simpler. See, this is the reason why this design was so ubiquitous with, manufacturers sort of copying it and, making their own similar designs, and it being such a pervasive design even into the 1950s, and even like, even your Nikon F cameras, like up through at least the F3, like they all had a very, very, like the shutter drum design was the same as your Leica 1 from 1925. Like, of course, with electronic aspects and stuff like that. But um, I feel like that it being, it's the simplest it can be. There's nothing on this camera that's excess. It is what it has to be. It's the smallest it can be. Like every millimeter in this camera is used. And if any millimeter were to be spared, it would, sort of sacrifice some um some aspect of the camera's function, or it would just look terrible. I will say I have seen more aspects of uh, sort of interesting design of the era in cameras like the Kodaks, and like more early, it's like later box cameras, especially. I saw them, like they sort of, it gets past that like utilitarian aspect, and also it gets past sort of proving yourself and more into, once you have a design that works, then you can start getting this is sort of the forerunner, and then later on we get more sort of unique designs, and looking more towards aesthetics, which you can sort of see with the Leica 3 cameras, with sort of this nice combined top cover, and these very nice, like neat clean lines and angular shapes and stuff like that.
And
Whereas
what about the Russians?
Oh
Always
yes,
creating
yeah, that's
everything. So that's a Zorky.
Lily's holding up I believe, a Zorky 2C.
Yes, that's the 2C.
The Russian cameras,
They were incredible at
yeah,
imitating everything.
very good. Russia had basically two sort of companies that made these Leica style copy cameras, Zorky and Fed. I believe they were both made in the Ukraine. Yes. One of them was initially the Feds were initially made in a labor commune, and then I think the Zorkies were just made in like a regular factory. Both of which are very good cameras. The Feds they started making in, I believe, the mid 1930s, and the Zorkies they started making in the 40s or 50s.
In the
I've
50s.
owned a couple of them.
I believe the Russians were able to get the blueprints of the Leicas
Oh yes.
because they invaded Germany, and Leica was a company that was working within during the war. So when they got to those shops, they were able to gather a lot of information, and that's when they started copying the cameras.
Well, another thing is that it wasn't just, I mean, even before the war, what they did is they
Reverse engineering.
they effectively reverse engineered the Leica. Well, what they did is they reverse engineered the Leica 2, which was the first one of these cameras which had a coupled rangefinder. I mean, it essentially looked very similar to the Leica 3, except just it didn't have a 1/1000th speed and a couple of other small differences. Anyway, but yeah, they because the original Leicas, like up until I think the Leica 3, they were made with instead of a cast, they would bend the brass to form the inner casing here. So it would actually be pretty simple to copy that design because you essentially just need to use a template to cut the brass or whatever steel sheet metal you'd use, and then they'd fold it and especially because it's a very simple shutter design. Like the reason why I like working on these cameras so much is because there's nothing really in the way. It's just the shutter dial connects like directly to the drum which holds the shutter curtains inside. I mean, in this maybe I'll show you, but in this I hope it's not too bright. Hold on. Maybe a little.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah. There we go. So you can see on the here, I'll try to angle it a bit better. There. There you can see the shutter drum there, and then the roller drums on the other side. I can just get the light angled. Oh, there we go. So the roller drums on the other side, which take up the curtains. So that drum over here is connected directly to the shutter dial. And so when you adjust the shutter speed, it essentially delays when the second curtain is let go, so which effectively changes the timing of the shutter. I think I wrote an article about the Leica shutter and more about its workings in the past newsletter. If you ever want to read up, it was a couple months ago. But yeah, it's a very, very simple shutter design. And of course, they added some complications like adding a slow speed dial and, adding a 1/1000th speed instead of it having a highest 1/500th, which sort of increases the amount of precision needed, which is why they added shutter bearings and different things to make the shutter more reliable.
Man, do you know your stuff?
Well, I've spent a lot of time researching, and also because I repair these cameras. I wish I could show, but right next to me I have a Leica, like a factory shutter tester that it's numbered, I think, number 51. Um of course they again, I'd have to like here, I'll give you a glimpse of it. But it's about maybe about 25 pounds, so I'm gonna have to be cautious as I but
Oh,
see, it's this
wow.
large steel contraption, and if you can see, it's got a little nameplate on it, and yeah, number 51.
Wow.
Okay, I gotta put this down. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a stroboscope is what it is. It's not very particularly advanced, but what they what they do, if I can find the little sheet, I put it somewhere around here. Um, anyway, there's a little sheet that comes with it that shows the what you do is you hold the camera in front of the little window of the stroboscope, and when you release the shutter, if you're looking through the back of the camera, it'll show a certain pattern for the different speeds, because as the stroboscope flickers, um, and your shutter curtains are moving across in a line, it'll create a unique looking pattern for each shutter speed. So you can time the shutter based on, based on what the pattern looks like. And you can do it pretty accurately. I mean, this is all they used up until uh, the advent of electronic shutter testers, which wouldn't be till probably till like, the integrated circuit was invented. Like, this is what they were using up until probably the 70s or 80s, I'd assume, or something like this. Um, yeah, no, I got really lucky that I got this, and I got it for free. So it was
Even better.
well, it'll be getting a lot of use in my workshop.
Fantastic. Sam, thank you
Oh, no
so much
problem. It
for
was
a
great presenting.
fantastic
I'm sorry for
share.
rambling a little bit.
Clint, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Oh, no problem.
I know you're a very good writer, but boy, are you a good presenter. Kudos. Really well done.
Thank you.
And folks, Sam, in his very humble fashion, alluded to this. Sam is a very regular contributor to the aforementioned PHSC email newsletter. Just an incredible variety of stuff. It's essentially adventures in vintage film camera land. Found this was the condition, did this to it, or found this is what this camera does, the neat stuff about it, the horrible stuff about it, blah blah blah. And it's pretty well every issue, right? And Patrick Gunn, your editor, is just over the moon, as are a gazillion other people. Your presentation, I think, like the Fisney people who love their Leicas, the Boston people in Leicas would have just been drooling all over this one. So yeah, well done. A couple of things. So Sam, contributor. Sam kind of, didn't really play this up, but perhaps if somebody needed to have a certain camera repaired, what is your and just off your right shoulder there, my friend, I see these sort of plastic containers that would be ideal to hold all sorts of small parts. I'm just thinking, right?
Yeah, actually, those aren't. I do have bins full of camera parts. I have to the left of me. These are all. I have a bunch of contacts parts. Like I have all sorts of. This is for the contacts too. I've got all sorts of gears, screws, stuff like that. Actually, behind me are these are Red Rose tea figurines. So
well, yeah, you can also find those at Marlene's Market. Anyway, so what I'm saying is Sam Carpick fixes cameras. What
yes.
cameras do you fix? And I guess the supplementary question is, what cameras do you like to fix?
Well, I always like to fix early Leicas. So your Leica ones, your Leica twos, your Leica threes, stuff like that. Those are my specialties, especially like 1930s Leicas. I'm just big fan of. Of course, all your Leica copies as well. So your Canons, your Nikon S's, your
Cardan?
your Cardan cameras.
There were a couple of Cardans in the Detroit auction, October the 4th.
I should have been there.
No, they were nice.
They
actually got put up on eBay, just so you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, they're nice. They're nice cameras. They're very rare cameras. I believe. Are they American made or are they?
They're American made, and there's kind of two versions. Like there's a strict military version, and then there's a civilian version, and there's one of each.
I've always been interested in the military version. Well, especially of the Leicas and the Contaxes. Especially the Contaxes because they're a bit rarer. Well, the Leicas are rare too. But the Contaxes are more attainable because there's not the same. There are Zeiss collectors, but it's less. The Leica collectors are insane. Like
yeah.
One more thing, and both Lily and Sam, you brought it up. You mentioned Fed and Zorky. Now you heard it here first. You'll be the first to hear this. And this is kind of through the grapevine. I have been approached by a reliable person here in the Toronto area. It's possible, I'm going to work on this, that there will be some nice Feds and some nice Zorkies in our next auction. Just have to hammer out a few details with this bloke.
I really hope so.
Yeah. I don't know what his expectations are. You know, often with our auctions, it's managing people's expectations. Often if it's an estate and it's like, yeah, dad stuff, yeah, whatever we got. I have to sort of carefully gauge this gentleman's, what does he think he's going to get for this stuff? So there, just so you know, you heard it here first.
Well, let's hope.
I'll work on
For
it.
my sake, let's hope.
Oh yeah.
And for Lily's sake, let's hope.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, Sam. Big
no
round of
problem.
applause.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right, and now the one, the only, Lorne. Are you ready?
The best.
We'll go for it. So do I do anything?
What do you want to show us? Do you want to show us an object or do you want to share your screen?
I have objects.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
But do I just put it up to the screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a collection of bicycle framed, original framed stuff that's figural or lithographic. And the first couple I'll show you, I'm going to sort of cut this a little short. This, I'm going to show you the back first. Can you see this? I can't see my screen, Clint. It's, or Celio. Is there any way I'm able to see the screen?
We can see it. We can see it quite clearly. It's like a triangular thing.
Yeah. Okay. No, you don't need to explain it. I know what it is. So this was sent flat, and these edges folded out like this. The reason I'm showing you this is the other one is missing the wings. But what's good about these? You've all seen these, but these were advertising for Columbia Bicycle Manufacturing Company. I can't see what you see, but where my thumb is the advertising for Columbia. They're quite beautiful lithographs. These are the only two that I've ever seen, and they came together in an auction, and they're mid 1890s. And in all the cases I'm going to show you, the photographs are contemporary, but none of these came with a photograph. But I put photographs in them. So this is a female, mid 1890s, with a male cabinet card. So that was the female, and here's a male. And it's really beautiful with chromolithography. Is that viewable? I'm sorry if I keep asking you this. I just can't see.
We're good, Lorne. You're doing great. We're doing great, Lorne.
Okay, so the next two I'm going to show you are castings. This is almost a stamping, but here's how it was acquired. And these are not particularly rare, but they're nice figural. And so there it is. And you can see my hand behind it. You can see the wheels are cast and spokes. That's also mid 90s. This is a page, I'm sure it doesn't, you can't see it, but I'm sure it's a page out of an album, but it's a mid 1880s. Can you see the top of the high wheel bicycles or not?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And then there's two racers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the full page. So you've got, those are lithographic pages on board. This next one that I'm going to show is a die cut paperboard. I'll bring it up closer. I can't see what.
Yep, that's great. That's great, Lorne.
All that's die cut. You can see that, but and the back's interesting. The back folded out, and it rested on a flat surface. And in the image, it's got the male and female riders in the chromolithography, and in the background, there's a windmill. So there's a lot of that type of stuff. This is pyrography. This is actually wood. Is it in focus?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep, fantastic.
And here's your bite where my fingers are.
Is it
Can you see it?
painted?
Pardon?
Is it painted?
No, it's heated metal on wood.
Oh, wow.
It's all hand done.
Like stamping.
No, but like stamping, yeah, but it wasn't a stamping. It was all hand done, artistically done. And it was quite a common form of a hobby, actually. So, and it's got the original string on the back. This is about 10 by 12. This is a heavy proper casting, and quite thick. I don't know what you can see, but it's quite heavy.
Beautiful.
And this is brass. It looks dark, which it is, but I've sort of learned to leave the patina the way it is. You can ruin this stuff if you're cleaning it. And anyways, this sat on a table. And I recently acquired one. I'll put it on my hand. Can you see it? Sorry, I keep asking, but
No,
I
it's
can't.
okay. Yeah, we can see it.
There's a sentence that reads, "This meeting is being transcribed," and it's got my whatever I'm showing. That box is covered by that text, so I can't see. But this is a little casting, and it's got the bike. What was interesting about this, maybe disinteresting, is what looks like dirt on the gold is really green paint. So it's hand painted, and it's got a cyclist picture inside. And the best one in the collection is a Figaro high wheel bicycle. It's about, can you see it in front of my chest?
Oh, yes.
It's quite large. It's got wood in the back. That's wood. And that's sort of like it's like a board with cloth over it in a penny farthing shape. This is 1880s. So this is by far the best as far as importance. That's it.
Sorry, could you tell us again, what material is that made of?
One day, Celio, I'll show it to you. I don't think it's cardboard, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is a paper board of some type. I'm putting my fingers in it. My fingernail goes in a little bit, but comes right out. So it's not wood. It's sort of like something. It's absolutely of the era.
Maybe
There's
papier
no.
mache?
It could be. I don't think so. But I'm just.
So they would use those as advertising in the stores, I guess, huh?
I don't think any of these were advertising.
Oh, no? Okay.
The only one that was advertising were the first two I showed, but they were advertising to get people to acquire them because they came from a famous company, the most important American bicycle company at the time. So they were advertising pieces, but they weren't sold to sell Columbia bicycles. There's just a small 1-inch high little symbol for Columbia on them. So they were let's say a promotional piece. Uncommon. I've only seen those two the one time. And it took maybe what you see there is 40 years of collecting. I never went out of my way to collect them. I've got other things photographic that are far greater depth, but I bought them when I could, that I thought about it. So it's just a nice broad early collection.
Beautiful.
Just Lorne, just when we think it might be possible for you to run out of a certain facet of collecting bicycle related stuff, you blow our socks off with something like this. It's like, oh my gosh, Lorne, it's great. It's amazing.
Well, it's too bad we don't have more time. I bought some really rare ladies skirt lifters.
Excuse me?
I bought some really rare ladies skirt lifters.
Are those legal? Enlighten us.
No
please.
longer legal, but they were legal in common.
Okay, what is a, tell us please, what is a skirt lifter? I'll bite.
Okay. I'll get one. It's right here. I'm just gonna get one.
Okay.
What it was, okay, and if I speak as if I'm talking to somebody and they think I'm stupid for the way I'm speaking, or I'm talking to you as if I think you're stupid, it's not. It's how my mind works.
There you go.
So a lady's got a skirt or a dress.
Yeah.
They were very long. If they were walking on the street, the dresses got dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to have something to lift them up. These are clamps. Simplistically, they're clamps that had a string to many of them. And they went behind the skirt, but at the bottom, so that if you lifted it up from the front, it pulled the skirt up so that the skirt did not trail in the mud or dirt. And these were used by cyclists as well as equestrian people and ladies in general. But they fall into the esoteric category of bicycle memorabilia for ladies in that genre.
Or when you said skirt lifters, I think all the ladies in here understood exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I was worried he was going to go out and show a picture of me.
It's used. They use it only the brides these days. You know, if they want to lift their dress, they
leave that up to the man today, don't they? I think.
Lorne,
I'll show you one or two. That's
go
all.
get the thing. This is fascinating.
So, anyways, I bought in an auction, I bought some rarities because I had this book, and the rarities were in a bicycle auction, and I got the rarest one because it nobody would have known what it was unless they had the reference. So I'm going to show you one that had that has the original rope with it. And okay. So this here went under the skirt at the back, and then this clip came down. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
Sorry, the clip went up, and it held it taut and tight, and then you pulled it, and that's how the skirt got lifted up. So you see, you didn't have to.
Very ingenious.
Yeah.
Now, was this under the garments, or
maybe at the edge of the garment? Only at the edge of the garment. It was at the bottom of the cloth. In other words, if it was, and it wasn't for men, but on trousers, it'd be right at the very bottom of the trouser, right? Not going behind or on top of. It was meant to pull it from the very bottom.
And like, for if it were for a man, would the string run down the pant?
I shouldn't have even mentioned man.
No. But for the woman, did it run down like her leg?
No.
Like, how did she?
It went behind. I'm gonna see if there's. This has got pictures. So I can.
I'm fascinated.
You're puzzled, Clint. You want
Totally.
another one?
Okay,
This is
here's
some
one
cool-
from the 1850s. And this, I shouldn't be showing you this, but this fit on the crenolines. So it lifted up much of the crinoline. Can you see it?
Yeah.
But that's 1850s. There was one of those in the auction, the rarest, not the most valuable, but the rarest of them. And I got one for $30 US because nobody knew what it was. You know, we all get lucky, I'm sure. Okay, so this is the only bicycle one. Where my
Yeah.
thumb is. You should be able to see it.
Yes.
It looks like the last one you showed looks like it had a would fit on your shoulders and then go down. Is that how it would work?
No, what really they more or less clipped on the belt buckles.
Oh, on the belt buckle.
More or less. You know, but and the one that sold for the most amount of money was similar to the one I showed you, but it was tennis rackets.
Hmm.
So they would have been worn by active people, active women.
Not active, moving. If they were outside, they could have worn them. They may not necessarily, they may have wanted to just lift it up with their hands, but they could have just lifted it up simply because I'll try and show it a different way. If this was a skirt, and this is the front of the skirt, the clip went to the back, and when you pulled it up the front, it lifted up the front and the back at the same time. Make sense, Celio?
Thank you.
So I guess now our next goal is to find a CDV with a woman with a skirt lifter. Right?
I'm not going there. No, it's not. I don't want to start thinking out loud and then it just you just ramble. No.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Lorne.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, another big round of applause. And all right, we've come pretty much to the end. There's a couple of things I want to mention before we head to bed. And I will be sharing my screen. I want to show you guys a couple of things. First, I want to tell you guys about our next program. And this is a joint program that we will be conducting with Photo Ed Magazine and Laura Jones. Yay! All right, so the event is here. It's the Happy Birthday Hannah Maynard Tea, Talk, and Cake. Don't forget about the cake, right? It is a celebration of life, work of Hannah Maynard, featuring author Elizabeth Ann Cavalier. I'm murdering this name. Cavalier. And it's going to take place at the Toronto Arts and Letters Club in downtown Toronto on Sunday, January 18th. So we will be there. We will be live. We will be live casting the event through our online platforms. All right. So I hope to see you all there. You can purchase your tickets at, excuse me, Eventbrite. Okay. And yeah, hold on. Let me do that. Get tickets. Let me copy the link. And I'm pasting the link right now in the chat box. Okay, double click on that, and it'll take you right to the ticket thingamabob. All right. Couple more things that we're doing and that you will see at our next events. We are exclusively the PHSC featuring these publications from Photo Researcher. We have this issue right now, Photography and Festivals. It is about £1, about 120 pages, full color. I have one of the issues with me, and it's fantastic. Fantastic photography, articles, commentary, interviews, some amazing contributors to this issue. Not only that, but soon we will be also showing the latest issue of Photo Researcher on autochrome's imperial history. And what I love about this issue is not only that we're dealing with autochromes, but it is the research for it is based on lesser known collections, right? Not on the Albert Kahn collection in France. They have ventured out into virtually unknown collections and exposed, and research a great deal of amazing images and photographers and other collections. We have, here's an example of a Stieglitz that is found in one of these collections, and some of the other image types. Right. So this issue will also soon be available for sale, for purchase at our live events. Right. And I have a copy here. Yes, Clint, go ahead.
So I have several copies of the first one that you spoke about. I've purchased one. And Cindy Motz has one. Now I think a couple of us. I'm pretty sure it was you, Lily. Okay, I'll hold one for you. And there was somebody else. Jeri, we thought it was you. Was it you that wanted a copy as well of this ish? Jeri? Jeri? There you go.
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. $30 PHSC is subsidizing it. It would be
Yeah,
more
not for me, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I
Yeah.
know. Forgive me. I probably should have. I'll see it. Yeah, whatever. Sorry. Yeah. So 2 more have been spoken for. So that I think we have of that issue. We got 10. So I think we've got 5 or 6 more. Let me know. Yeah. Good.
So in this, the autochromes were photographs that were transparent. And so they would have been placed in viewers that reflected light through them, as opposed to what we're used to in color photographs where the light bounces off the surface. Here, the light would be going through the medium.
You want to see one fast?
Yes, please.
I love the Lorne Shields Museum.
Those are some pretty unique items.
Oh yeah, and these are the first practical color photographs, right? Like these date from the early 1900s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, so it's a fantastic research
That's
issue.
in line with the presentation. Remember she did that seminar a couple of years ago?
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
was
right.
really good. I really enjoyed that.
Okay, Diane, yes, we can definitely set aside a copy of the autochrome issue for you. Is that the one you're
well,
referring to?
what I was looking for is because I specifically have lantern slides, and that's what I'm interested in. And I've never seen this magazine before. I'm not in Toronto, so I'm in Vancouver. So if one of them has any lantern slide content, I'd be there. And otherwise, I'd probably just take one as a reference, if you would ship it to me, if that's okay.
Not to
And
worry,
I can.
we'll get it to you when we that. Diane, you mentioned lantern slides. You're in Vancouver, so you must have been at the Vancouver convention of the Magic Lantern Society of Canada and the US.
I would have loved to have been there. I've had my partner's had some health issues, so
Damn.
I haven't been traveling at all, even to Vancouver. So right now I'm actually in a hotel room, and I don't have any of my stuff with me, but I saw the thing and I thought this would be a great thing.
Now you know the convention's coming to Toronto in April 2026. If you're in the neighborhood,
I will definitely, if all things go well, be there. And yeah, like I said, I'm the person with about 1,000 lantern slides of the Palestine and Egypt from the American colony folks. So I am Gunther Mueller's daughter.
oh my goodness, this all makes sense now.
Yeah, and I was on about a year ago. I was on one of these, and yeah, so I
Welcome
came.
back. Oh, it's good to see you. This all makes sense.
It just took me a year to get back here, but I'm really thrilled to be here, and I hope to publish a small book on the plants of the Palestine from that lantern slide collection in the coming year. So
let us know, we can help.
I will. Don't worry.
Okay.
I will. I will need that help. I will need that help. So that's coming.
You know what we mean. Stay tuned. Yeah, let us know.
Yep.
All right, Lorne, you had an autochrome that you wanted to show us.
So this is a French military one,
and yeah, it's hard to see
I'm
that.
gonna,
so it's reflective, right? It's
no, it's not reflective. You should be able to see it. Do you see it now?
Now we can see the image through it. Yeah, just hold it in front
of your face. Yes, there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I also have a stereoscopic.
Looks like a French.
And by the way, it hung probably near a door or something, because it has a little hook. But it's got trees, I guess.
Diane, you're muted.
Okay.
Would those autochromes, would they fade in the light? Because that's what the lantern slides, I'm always worried about having them exposed to light.
I don't know that answer.
Do you keep them?
They probably
wrapped up?
would.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's potato starch.
Yeah.
Lantern slides might not be as bad, but
yeah,
I
it's
still
still
would
very.
let them. I'd be careful.
I'm
No
very
point
careful.
risking it.
No, it's kept wrapped like this and in its own box.
Yeah.
It's been out probably 3 times in 20 years for 2 minutes.
It might have been used to hang it against a window or some
Yeah.
other light source for viewing only, and then put away.
I don't think it disintegrated that fast in those days. They probably didn't think about it, but just an opinion.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you everyone so much for coming out tonight. I really loved having you all here. It's been an interesting year, and we're at the doorsteps of the new year. Let's see what new awesome things. I hope 2026 brings awesome things. Kind of afraid to turn on the TV and the news nowadays. You know?
I have to throw, excuse me, I have to throw in a Motz hello.
Oh yeah. Hey, Lorne.
All right. So thank you all very much for coming out today. This has been fantastic. And I've learned a lot, and I think we all have. So have a good night. Best of the year. Happy holidays.
Those of you who want to hang out for a bit, I'm going to be around for a bit. Celio Sir, awesome moderator. You are.
Yeah, he's got those kids to put to bed.
Yeah, but thank you, Celio, for what you done today. Grand. That was
I'm giving a
Donald.
thank you.
okay.
Oh, look.
Laura.
Oh, look at that.
there
Oh,
you
and
go.
Marlene just left
Yay.
a
Ah.
little while ago. Oh, fantastic. Look at that. Great. Well, just to let you guys know that while we've been live casting to YouTube, we have had people come in to watch the live cast.
Oh, good.
Right?
Nice.
There's been an uptick and downtick throughout the evening, so it's fantastic. Just so you know what it looks like, right? It's a little bit of like a few seconds delay, but you'll see it here. Right, Clint's still talking, and there's Diane.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Right, so it's on a little bit of a delay, but yeah, whenever you want to come and rewatch this show and tell, it's up on our website. Oh, sorry, the link to our YouTube channel is on our website, and I will copy and paste the link to this recording, live session, etc., down here for those of you who would like to save that link. All right, that is
Okay.
it for me.
Throw the flag over. Throw the flag over
All right,
to me. And
I'm going to be
hang
throwing
out.
the flag over to Clint. All right, I think he's pulling out the alcohol at some point. I'm just joking. The holiday spirit, let's call it. Let's call it the holiday
Lifting
spirit.
skirts and
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
coming
Celio.
once
Thanks,
again.
mate.
We'll love
All
to
the
see you in the
best.
new
Thanks,
year.
All
Celio,
the
for
best for
hosting.
family.
Yeah. Have a wonderful holiday, everyone.
You too. Bye bye.
Wow. Bye, mate. Wow, that was a lot of fun. That was, yeah. That was, I tell you, Celio, he keeps pulling the rabbit out of the hat, I tell you. And new people. Is Marlene still here? Or did
No.
No, she left a while ago.
Oh, the dog.
I just realized that I have to turn off the live cast.